Hey guys, welcome back to another strategy testing video. Today we got a fun one. This is going to be the final modification to the dual strike dozens. Today I'm going to be showing this using the software using AutoBet. I'm also going to be showing a new feature that we implemented into the software, and it's going to be showing us a visual chart spin by spin that tracks the profits and losses. So now that we implemented this into the software, anybody watching that's in the Viper Inner Circle membership, you all have access to run this strategy right now. And we added a bunch of parameters and safety measures in there as well. One specifically that came from Joe Yurkovich. So thank you very much. He talks about rebalancing when the offset of those dozens get a little too spread apart. And I thought this was absolutely a great idea. Reason being is because you have 24 numbers covered. But the problem with continuing that offset, you're giving only one dozen a chance to get you back to profit, because that's really where the bet's higher on. And the other one, because it's a lower bet amount, it's really just acting as a small hedge. So he brought up the idea of rebalancing those once the spread gets to a certain point. So now that's all configurable and adjustable in the settings. So I will go ahead and go over that to see what works best. But before we get everything set up, I want to go over and visually show you how this is going to be running today and what modifications we changed to make this work a lot better. Okay, so let's pull up the app. Right now, you can see that a 21, a 13 came out, right? We are going to use dollar units for this, and our starting bet's very basic, very simple. We are going to start at $1 unit on the last two dozens to hit. So in this case, this would be second dozen and first dozen. We are going to keep our bets the same on wins. We are waiting for a full whack, which in this case would be the zeros or that third dozen, for us to start the progression. Progression is a modified D'Alembert, which means on a loss, what's going to happen is the bet that lost will go up by 1 unit. So if we get a full whack and get this third dozen, obviously these will both go up to 2 units each. But also what the software is going to do automatically is it's going to follow the last 2 dozens to hit. So in this case, let's hypothetically say third dozen came in. So if third dozen came in, we're obviously going to shift our bets from that dollar unit. We're going to go 1, 2 on third dozen. And then the previous one to hit was still that second dozen. So now we're at a $2 bet. So let's say we got another full whack and a 0 comes up. If a 0 comes up, we're just going to hold our bet right here. And obviously both bets missed. Remember these dozens are running independent bet progressions. But since we got back-to-back losses, full whacks, they both go up because they both lost. Now let's get a win. I'm just going to paint this out just so it's clear for you guys so you understand what's happening. So now we are at a $3 bet on each. Let's say hypothetically this second dozen hits. So when that happens, we're going to go backwards 2 levels. Take off 2. And now we're at a dollar bet here. And since the third dozen missed, 1 bet goes here. But here's the big change. Since the second dozen just hit, these are going to shuffle. These 2 bets are going to shuffle. So what's going to happen is the software is going to switch these bets. And it's going to put the highest bet on the last to hit. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one would be at a $4 bet. And then this one's going to slide over here. So essentially just swapping places. No, we have a $4 bet there. So the offset is 3. Let's say it's at, I don't know, 6 for in this case. So you could see right here, we have $7 on this bet, and we have $1 on this bet. That's an offset of 6. The difference between the 2 bets are 6, which this I thought was a very, very good idea from Joe. He says, why not rebalance them when this gets spread apart? And I thought it was a good idea because you want to keep the power of covering 2 dozens. 2 dozens, you got 24 numbers covered. You got most of the board covered. The problem with continuously keeping this independent and allowing one to get higher and higher is then this third dozen right here is only at a dollar bet. So it's going to be a loss, right? It's not going to be a full loss, but it's still going to be a loss. And now you have all your betting power to get you back into a profit only on a single dozen. So then it kind of defeats the idea of covering 2 dozens at once. 6 is probably a good sweet spot. So let's say it's right here at this point and you get another loss. What it's going to do from here, it's going to balance out the bets. Then it's going to go ahead and put 4 units, and then this one's going to back up to 4 units. Now what's happening now is now you're going to get profit on either of these hitting. So that is the big key difference. I feel like this is going to work out very well. We also have anti-chop safety parameters to prevent those loss streaks from hurting your profit gains. So now that this is covered, let's go back and set everything up, and we'll run the test. All right, so I'm going to be showing you that new tool. It's called the Orchestrator. I did do one previous video on it. So going over here and looking at the software right here is where the visual chart will show you. So many of you guys that are familiar with stake and play on stake, they do give a visual chart that shows in the green. And then if you dip down below base, it's going to go into the negative. So this is what we implemented in here because not all casinos have that option. So a lot of you guys do like a visual while you're playing. So we thought this would be great to show you guys, but let's go ahead and set things up. So think about this as a playlist, kind of like your favorite music. You add your favorite song, your favorite strategies, and the ones that you've tested and you like the best. And then from here, you can make that playlist as long as you want. So let's go ahead and go down here. So before we start a session, we're going to go here, edit. And then right here, this is one of my playlists. I just named it conservative. And right now I only have one in here. So if you want to add a strategy in here. So in today's case, I'm going to be adding the dual strike dozens. So let's go ahead and click on add strategy. And any strategy that's in the software, again, we have over 100 strategies that are programmed into the software, ready to use. All of them have settings that you could play around with. So I'm going to go over here to categories. And actually, I don't. It's right here at the top because we just recently added it. So right here, we got a couple right here. So Dual Strike Dozens is the original. We thought it'd be great to add a version of Dual Strike Dozens and do it with columns as well. So let's go ahead and add both of them. So if you wanted to, you can run both of these together as well, creating a stack. That's going to be a video for another day. I think that would actually work out pretty well, but I'm just simply adding some. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple in here so you guys could see. And just go ahead and go down here, add selected. Okay, so back into the playlist editor, we have all of the ones that we highlighted and added here. Now, today, I'm only going to use one strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and disable all the other strategies except for the dual strike dozens. Okay, I'm just going to be playing the dual strike dozens. So I'm going to go over here at the top. There's a settings button. So right here, the previous page, you're setting little mini profit goals and little mini stop loss points. Over here is for the overall session. Okay, so this overall session, I want to set to 50 bucks. I want to make 50 bucks on this session. And then my loss limit, I don't want to use more than $100 into my bankroll. Now I'm going to bring something up because one of you guys gave some feedback on the previous video and he said that he's been using this, been working out great for him, but he said that he stretched that out to $500 for bankroll. Now I understand many of you guys say this is not enough bankroll for this type of system. I do understand where you're coming from. What I want to highlight is if you find a strategy you like, the reason why I'm using $100 is because I don't see it. That's about the average down draw that it goes. That's about the average amount of bankroll that this uses to get me that $50 profit goal. So with that being said, you can definitely change this to whatever bankroll size that you want, that you feel comfortable with. The biggest reason why I do this, I call it refactoring my bankroll. I do test with the ViperBet simulator and run multiple sessions with real spin data. And then from there, I get the averages. So the average with this one through my testing experience is about $100. Sure, I could stretch it out a little bit more, just give it a little bit more wiggle room, maybe put it at $150 or $200. But the reason why I do this, the biggest reason is, like I said before, number one rule I have is to protect my bankroll, my treasure, my money. So yeah, you can stretch it to $500, but some of those times that it did go and use $500, it didn't have enough punching power to get back into profit. So essentially, this is protecting you from going and getting stuck in a trap where it's just a bunch of bad spins and it's just simply not your night. So that's exactly why I do this. I have free information down in the description below. So if you want to check that out, there's a link. Enough talk with that. We're going to keep the settings here. We're going to go ahead and click on save. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this. And now we do have some data, spin data loaded up right now. So you can see on the history board over here on the app, you could see 1, 23, 35. And I went ahead and put these in over here. That way the software knows where to place these dozen bets at, because we are following the 2 dozens to last hit. Okay, so you can see stats starting from 0. Let's see how this one runs today. Last one a hit. Let's make sure auto bet is enabled. We're going to go ahead and click on that so it places the bet for us. So 36 was the last one to come out. We're just going to come down here into the input table area, and since 36 came out, we're going to simply click on 36 and let it take over and place the bets for us. Again, it's going to track everything, the highs, the lows, and it's also going to track what spins. So there's either one or two of things are going to happen today. We're either going to win $50 or we're going to lose $100. So let's see how it pans out. First one is a win. 29 black came in. So we're going to come down here and simply click in 29 black. All right. So since the last 2 dozens a hit is that first dozen and third dozen, it's going to continue to place the bet there. And we got a full miss. All right, let me click out of this, and 16 came in next, so we're going to go ahead and click on 16. So now we have an offset of 3 on one and 2 on the other one. 15 black comes in, and that's a hit. So $4 coming back to us. We're going to go ahead and punch in 15. And again, it's going to follow the last to hit, so the higher bet will be on the last dozen that came in. And look at that, 16 red came in, and we got the hit right there. So we are going to go ahead and punch in 16 down here. And you can see that chart right now too. It's keeping track visually for you guys. So I know some of you guys like to see that. It's not available at all casinos, but again, it's nice to see a visual of a chart. So I like to play with it this way. We got a push on that one. All right, so we go ahead and punch in 26 down here. And it's going to place the bets for us. And let's see what we get here. We got a 34 red, so that's going to be a hit. All right, beautiful. $5 coming back to us. We're going to go ahead and punch that in down here. And profit high right now is $12. All right, we got another hit. So you can see this is the reason why I like to follow the hot areas. You can see they do repeat quite often. So 27 came in, so we're going to punch it down here. And just so you look over here, you see this chart. You got to hover your mouse over it, and it's going to tell you at what round where you were in profit or if you were in the minus. Right here, we won early on, then it dipped down -2, and currently we're up $12. We got a hit on 27, so let's go ahead and punch that in. So session high is currently at $15. Again, using dollar units, this is a low roller friendly strategy. If you want to get a little aggressive with it, you can up your unit size, of course. We got a push right there because we didn't hit that third dozen. It hit the second dozen. 20 black came in. And we're going to go ahead and let it do its thing. So now we have a $3 bet on a second dozen and a $1 bet on a third dozen. And we got a full whack. 1 red came in. That's fine. Go ahead and punch that in and let it place the bet. So we're going to have a bet on the second dozen, and we're going to have a bet on the first dozen. The higher bet is following the last one to hit. So let's see if we could get another low dozen or first dozen. We did not. We got back-to-back whacks. All right. So -6 right there. 36 came in. So we're going to punch that in. Let it place the bets for us. Now we got a $5 bet on that third dozen. So let's see if it hits. And look at that. A lot of repeaters today. So that's $7 coming back to us. So we're going to go ahead and punch in 36 again. Let it place the bets. Higher bet will remain on that side. So right now we're a little closer to, even on the bets. We have $3 bet on the first dozen and $4 on the third dozen. And we got another whack right there. Okay, so 14 red came in. That's fine. Let's go ahead and punch that in. So that 4 goes up to 5, remember guys, and then that higher bet will follow the last one to hit. That's just how I have it configured. You can change it however you want. 26 black comes in, and that's a $3 win that had the lower bet on there. So let's go ahead and click that in there. And you can see spin by spin, that graph will be updating. So right now it seems like it's kind of teetering up and down. Our session profit high was at 15. We are shooting for $50. If we get there, we're going to call it a success, or we're going to play this until it fails, until we use all $100 of our bankroll. All right, so 21 red came in, so we're going to go ahead and punch that in down here and let it place the bets for us. So now we have a $4 bet and $4 bet because we hit that threshold, right? That rebalancing threshold. That way, both of these now will be in session profit. And you can see that helped us because instead of following the last hit, which was at 21, that second dozen, we even out the bets right there. So it's going to continue the progression from here on forward. 35 came in. Let's go ahead and punch that in. So that $4 bet goes to a $5 bet. And then that one that hit, we backed it down 2 levels. So that's going to be $2 now. And look at that. 36 came in again. What's that? The third or fourth time 36 came in. I love it. All right. And go ahead and let it do its thing. And we are at a $3 and $3 bet. So, and new session high is at 18. All right. We got another full whack. 8 black comes in. We'll go ahead and punch that in. All right, let's see what we get here. Looking at the graph, I mean, we are teetering up and down a little bit, but let's see how this pans out. So now it's chopping on us. Remember, we have that chop protection. We can use that moving forward. So that's something to think about. Maybe you could set that chop to sit out spins if it hits 2 or 3. I think that's pretty good, but I let it roll. I typically don't see it chop this much. We got a 0-0 on that one. That's obviously going to be a loss. So we got 3 losses in a row, 3 full whacks in a row. Same deal with the 0-0. Go ahead and click that in and let it place its bets. Now we're in the minus again. And we currently have 6 units on the first. And let's see if we could get a win on that first dozen. And second dozen hit. Okay, so it rebalanced again right there. So it was at 6 and 6. So we got a $6 return, and let's go ahead and punch in 16. 16 also a hot number on today's session. I think that came up. I think that was the 3rd time. All right, so we're going 1 up and then 2 down on the one that hit. So we got a $4 bet and a $7 bet. And it looks like 10 black came in, and that's going to be just a $1 return. Let's go ahead and rebet again. And we are at 5 and 5. And another full whack. So it's chopping on us now. Let's see if it bounced back. I think this is a pretty solid, safe strategy. Doesn't really use too much bankroll. But again, this is why we test. We always want to test before we invest. So since that was a full loss, both of those dozen bets go up by 1 unit. And we got a hit right there. 21 red comes in. That's going to be $6 coming back to us. So that $6 bet drops down, and then the one that missed goes up by 1 unit. So 7 units on that second dozen. Let's see if we could get back-to-back hits, and we did. My favorite number comes in, 20, in it to win it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and come down here, punch in 20, let it go ahead and do the thinking and placement for us. All right, back up in profit, $7. Let's see if we could get a nice little streak going. And I think we did. All right there, 14 reds, another good hit. So we're going to go ahead and punch that in down here. And we are back up in profit to $12. Keep in mind, our session high was 18. And unit size, guys, that's a big key right here. If you're using $10 units, I mean, this would be up $180 already. All right, we got another full whack right there. So we're gonna go ahead and punch in the what was it? 2 black. All right, let's see what we get here. You can see the chart. We did, we're teetering up and down right now. Again, this is a very fairly conservative way to play. So if this is the way you like to play, you don't mind having a little patience, this strategy could work out great. I think this is the lowest we've been so far. It's -8. And we get a 34 red. 34 red's going to be a hit. $11 coming back to us. Beautiful. We'll take it. All right. So the rebalance is at 6 and 6 right now. Kind of struggling. But again, this is... Well, let's see what happens. All right. We got $6 coming back. We need to get a little hot streak going right now. So let's see if we could get some repeaters. So one of the bets obviously comes down 2. So that's why you have $4 on that first dozen. The other one goes up 1 unit. All right. So that time it did not hit the high bet. It hit the lower bet amount. That's fine. Let's see how this goes. We're at a session profit of 10. Our high was 18. We're still kind of chasing that, and now it's chopping again on us. Got a 23 red. Let's go ahead and punch that in. And let's see what we get here. Hopefully we get a streak, guys. Hopefully we get a streak. Because right now, all we've been doing is going up and down, up and down. All right, so we got back-to-back hits. That's going to be a nice return of 6. We're going to punch in 20. Now we got a $7 bet on the second 12 and $4 bet on that first 12. And another miss. That's a full whack. So both bets will go up. We were at 4 and 7. We're going to go 5 and 8. And of course, the higher bet's going to be on the last to hit. So hopefully we could grab another win on that third dozen. And we got it. 31 black comes in. That's an $11 return. We're going to go ahead and add that. And 29 black is going to be another hit. $6 coming back. So now we're at a $4 and $7 bet on those dozens. And we got another hit on that dozen. Beautiful. $10 coming back to us. 26 is a good number for us. Finally, in a new session profit high of 20 plus 22 units. I do like to refer to these as units because, as you guys know, you guys could make more money just upping your unit size. So you can look at this chart right here. Let's hover real quick. What's the lowest we went? Lowest we went was $9. I thought it was 8. So we dipped down 9 once, and then we dipped down into 8. Let's go ahead and punch in the next number. 15 black came in. New session profits at 27. So hasn't used a ton of bankroll yet. Again, I think 100 is plenty, but you guys can always adjust that to however you wish to play. If you want more wiggle room, more leash, go ahead and create a deeper bankroll. What do we get? A 27 red on that one. 27 red was push, I believe. So we're still at 27 units in profit. We're chasing 50. And 28 black comes in. That's going to be another good one for us. That's a $4 or 4 unit return. So we click that in and let it place the bets for us, let it calculate for us, and shift around everything for us. New session profit high is now at 31 units. And right now it's playing well. We caught a good hot streak, so let's capitalize off of this. That had the lower bet on there. That's why we lost $1 on there. That's okay. Let's go ahead and punch an 18 down here. All right, so we got $6 on one, and the third dozen has one. And of course, we didn't hit the third dozen. We didn't hit the second dozen. We hit the third dozen. That's 32 red. And right now, it's doing that rebalance that Joe talked about. So I set that spread, that difference at 6. You could put it at whatever you want, but I think that's a nice safety feature that we added to this strategy. All right, we got a 0. There's going to be another loss. Last bet we were at 4 and 4, so obviously they both go up by 1 unit. So now there's 5 units on each of the last 2 to hit. All right, we got a win right there. That's a 15 black. 15 black's going to pay us out $5. Our session high still at 31. Currently, we're at $23 in profit. And we get a 4 black. 4 black's not a good number, so we're going to go ahead and punch that in next. And now we're going to shift the bets. Now the bets are going to be on the first and the second dozen. Just following those hot streaks, right? That's all we're doing with this one. And if you guys have any feedback on any modifications you would like to see with this, let me know. I could try out a lot more, and I do plan on running some tests against some real spins. Again, I like to do that just because this app, it's good for testing purposes and getting familiar with the strategy if you want to practice and, before you utilize it in a casino. But I don't know. I trust real spins over, RNG simulated numbers. All right. So we got, we got a hit right there. What was that? 10 black that came in. Beautiful. So we're going to need to catch another nice streak. We need to get up in profit. Right now, it just seems like this session has been up and down, up and down. But again, this is what you get when you start reducing the volatility and you start leaning towards more safer strategies, as you got to expect this. This is something, more geared for a patient player, or if you're not that patient and you want to leverage the low volatility of this strategy, the best thing to do is to just increase your unit size, get up and get out. Because we did peak out at $31 in profit, right? 31 units. That could be $310 if you're using $10 units. All right, 21 red came in. That's another miss. And now we just hit our low. So this is the lowest we've been so far, is that minus 12. So we're definitely going to need to catch a nice hot streak. And that is what 16 red comes in. There's a good win on 16 red. And I'm not even paying attention to where the bet placements are. What are we at now? We are at 9 on the second. And what was that? 6 on the third 12. All right, so we got another back-to-back hit. Beautiful. $12 coming back. So it is bouncing back for us. And we are back into profit. And let's see, what do we got? We got 7 and 7. All right, 7 units on the second 12, 7 on the third 12. 26 black comes in. That's going to be another hit. All right, so we're getting our profit back. 1 win at a time. And that's back to back. There's been a lot of repeaters on this. This session's been a lot of repeaters. And that actually reminds me, we just created another strategy for the software. And it's basically a repeating strategy. I'm going to have to show that pretty soon, man, because that thing is hitting hard and winning a lot of money, because we do tend to see a lot of streaks happening when we play. But also before you play too, depending on what strategy you're running, it's always good to read the board, kind of see what that dealer's spinning. For instance, we're following 2 hot dozens for this session, right? So if the guy is like constantly chopping on you, maybe it's not good to to follow the 2 hot dozens, but instead maybe what do we get? Hold on, let me pause for a second. We got 33 black came in. Let me punch that in. But yeah, like I was saying, just reading the board before you enter is what you really want to do, right? Because if you see a dealer, like I'm gonna just give you a basic analogy. If you're playing a simple bet on red and black, if the dealer is streaking, right, and if he's hitting 3-4 blacks in a row, then he streaks to red, maybe hits a couple in a row, then bounces back. I mean, then you want to play that red and black strategy, to benefit that, right? Instead of playing against the chop, you want to play with the streaks because that's what he's doing. A lot of zeros coming on this session. This is another zero that came up. That's fine. We did peak into a new session profit at 33, but now after a couple full whacks, drop down in profit again. But this is why we test, guys. We want to test out the volatility of it and see if it can come back too. That's another thing. That's why I took off that session profit, because I just felt like if we were to reset at every session profit, that's going to slow it down a little bit more. So I'm just going to let it run through the DL and Burt progression. Just simple ladder progression. Any loss, you go up by 1 on that miss, and any wins, we're just dropping back by 2. We got that 26 black. I don't know how many times that 26 black showed up already, but I know it's been like 3 or 4 at least. All right, so we are back up in a session profit of $29 or 29 units, depending on how you are playing. And we got a 1 red. 1 red's going to be a hit. $6 coming back. Go ahead and punch that in down here. All right, finally achieved a new session profit high. We have 35 units. So 15 away from punching out for the night. And 6 black comes in. That's going to be $10. So we're going to go ahead and click in that. All right, so we're almost there. We're up a positive 45 units, and we get a 15 black. All right, 15 blacks a whack. All right, let's see if we could grab a couple wins here and reset. And another chop. All right, so that's back-to-back full whacks. 26 black came in yet again. That's got to be like 5 or 6 at this point. So if you're playing that repeater strategy, that's essentially a single number bet, and as you guys know, it pays out great, right? Pays out great when you hit a single number. So we do have a strategy that follows repeaters, and this would probably be in massive profit at this point. Okay, so 11 black came in. That's a good one. We're back up to 30 units in profit. Our high was 145. So a positive 45 units. Just trying to get to 50. Very rough. I wouldn't say it's a rough run, but it's it's requiring a lot of patience and time. And there's another 0. So we're going to go ahead and punch that in. And now we drop back down to, $17 in profit. So let's see what we get here. And we get a 36 red. 36 came up quite a bit. This is a good session if you're playing any repeating strategy. Okay, so 36 came in. We're at $20 in profit. And we got a 7 and 7. And 12 red comes in. 12 red is going to be a hit. Beautiful. We'll take it. Let's get a nice little streak going right here. So we got 5 units on that third dozen, and we're putting the higher bet on that first dozen because it was the last one to hit. So $8. And we got it. 2 black comes in. 2 black's going to be a hit. That's $11 coming back to us. All right. So now we're back up a positive 38 units. And then we got a 6 and 6 bet on the last 2 dozens to hit. Oh, we can't catch a break. As we continue to climb, one of those inopportune spins come up. That was 23 this time. So drop back down in profit. That's all right. I'm going to play this out, guys. I'm going to play this out. The good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, everything gets shown on this channel. We're either going to lose our $100 or we're going to win our $50 goal. So let's see what happens here. All right. $7 coming back. We got a 5 red. Beautiful. We'll take it. Back up to 33 units. We're not too far away. We just need a good little streak so we could just punch out for the day and call it a success. And we get a 29 black. And of course, another full whack, but that's to be expected. And you want to play these through and full. And the longer that you test strategies will show you better averages on the volatility of these strategies. Okay. So it's good that you have rough sessions like this because it, you know, real life, you know, how many times have you gone to the casino? You're very convinced this strategy is the best out there. And then that dealer starts spinning some crazy numbers. And you're like, what are the odds of that happening? Well, it happens. That's why I lean towards these type of strategies that can withstand a lot of losses without, you know, using so much bankroll, right? So at the end of the day, for me, the strategies that are what I deem the best are the ones that use the least amount of bankroll compared to how much you make in profit. Some people are just chasing wins. Some they just want this thing to go big, or it's either boom or bust. I don't like those, right? I don't like to risk money like that. I think it's safer and it's better to shift your odds in your favor if you're just using a strategy to get you, you know, some of those low hanging fruit where you're only, you know, looking for $50 gain, you know. And then you think about that over, let's say you have 10 sessions, $50 over 10 sessions. Maybe you don't win them all. That's fine. That's not going to happen all the time. It's not realistic. But let's say you win 7 or 8 out of those sessions, you're going to be up, right? You're going to be up in profit. But again, I play different. It's not everyone's, you know, cup of tea. I understand that. I'm just showing you what I like the best. And I'm planning on doing some more videos showing some heavy hitters. I have showed some in the past. And let's see where we're at. I forgot to close out of that. It's doing its auto bet thing right now. So, all right. So bet amounts high. We just dipped down on the low. So we're going to need some wins favorable for us. And we got one right there. 14 units coming back with a 7 red. This session is quite the struggle. I can't believe it. I thought it was going to get there a lot quicker than this. We were close. I mean, 45, we could have punched out there too, you know, instead of chasing those last $4 or $5, excuse me. 14 red comes in. Okay, beautiful. So we are making progress back up. But as you look at the chart to the left, you can see a lot of teetering up and down, and you can see the high points. And when you look at the low points where it dipped down, the high points severely outweigh how much it's dipped down. So that's something to keep in consideration as well. This is why I like this one. It's just lower volatility. I think honestly, this is one of those strategies that I would honestly prefer to probably stack with something a little bit more aggressive. That way, this kind of acts like a hedge bet, while that other strategy, like I have a repeating street strategy that I think is great, and it makes profit very quick. So I think that would run really good with this. Also, you know that we added a version of dual strike dozens, but instead of dozens, we're using columns. So I wonder, running those two consecutively, now you're going to create an overlap, right? Then you're going to have an overlap with jackpot potential. So I wonder if that would get us to our session profit a lot quicker. So if you're interested in seeing that, let me know down in the comments. I'll probably run a video on that as well pretty soon. I do like stacking strategies. So finally, we're back up into a session profit of 41 units. Again, our high was 45. We're trying to check out at 50. Let's see what we get here. All right. We got 7. So we're not quite there. 22 black came in. That's going to put us, so we only need 2 units. And honestly, I could just reset here just to grab those 2 units without risking too much. But I'm just letting the software do its thing. We'll punch out after we hit that mark. All right, we got it. So 5 red comes in. Let me go ahead and punch this in so the software registers it. Okay, so let's see, we are at exactly hit our mark of 50 units in profit. Beautiful. Okay, so that was a long, rough run. I want to say rough because we didn't really look over here at the chart. I'm gonna hover real quick for you guys. So we dipped down $2 here. What was our lowest? We then dipped down 9. Our lowest was $12. The lowest, that's the most that we used, was $12 of our bankroll. And you could see most of the time, I know it takes patience to play like this. It's a very low volatility strategy, low risk strategy. So you're going to need to be patient and check out at the right time. But you could see the majority of this test run, this session, was all in the positive. Okay, so we hit our target goal of 50. So let's go ahead and stop this session right here. Right, so looking right here, we started with a $100 bankroll. I know that's low. Many of you guys say maybe you need more. I like to use less if I can, right? Knowing how this typically tests out, you rarely see it get to, over $100 before it gets into profit. Anything more than that, you're just chasing losses, and it's probably better to stop while, to stop that bleed early. So any balance, of course, we got a positive 50. So we did hit our mark, and right here to highlight, we went down to $88, so minus 12. And that did take quite a bit of spins, right? It took 83 spins right here. And let me close this. And let me close this real quick. All right, let me pull up one more thing to show you guys. I got, let's do the history. And again, I've showed this before. This literally tracks every single bet and what the bet was. So if some of you guys really want to like hyper analyze the strategy, and that's fine, we give that option for you. So it's going to show every single bet. It's going to show, like, for instance, that D stands for D1. So that's dozen one. It had a $5 bet, and the dozen two had an $8 bet at this level. It's going to show all the wins, losses, line by line, spin by spin, and it's going to track everything. So you guys could go back and, this is where you start, right? Boom, boom. That's just the progress that it went through. So yeah, very useful information. A lot of stuff to analyze here for you guys that want to continuously work on strategies to make them even better. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. The auto bet, great feature, great tool, just takes the thinking out of it. You can see I was blabbing my mouth the whole time without even keeping track. I wouldn't be able to talk that much if I was like, keeping track of this, because I want to say it's complex. You can run this by yourself manually. It just takes that human error out of it too. So it's easier to run this way. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any ideas or other strategies you want to see me stack with this, I'm probably going to show another video on that. I'm definitely going to show a video of this on the other channel, the Viper Strategies channel. That way I could highlight and show it against real spin data so we could get a better idea. I like to use real spin data. I think that's the best way moving forward. But I'll show that in an upcoming video. And of course, guys, till next time, be cool, stay cool, peace.